Apple has launched a new headset to put users between the virtual and real world. The Vision Pro goggles have been unveiled at the company's annual developers conference in California. The 12 cameras, 6 microphones and variety of sensors will allow users to control various apps with their eyes and hand gestures. It will go on sale in the US early next year, costing more than 5,000 Australian dollars.
This marks the beginning of a journey that will bring a new dimension to powerful personal technology.
Apple is hoping its headset will repeat the success of past products. It was January 1984 when Steve Jobs unveiled the Macintosh computer, considered revolutionary because of its graphical user interface, or GUI, and its navigational mouse. In 2001, the iPod digital music player launched, allowing people to store up to 1,000 songs on the go. 2007 saw the debut of the iPhone, bringing the convenience of touchscreens to the smartphone. The popular rival to the BlackBerry quickly crushed its competitor. 3 years later, it was the launch of the iPad. It was the middle ground between laptops and a smartphone. Then, in 2014, the Apple Watch allowed people capability to connect from the wrist. It initially marketed the smartwatch as a fashion accessory before shifting the focus to health tracking features. Apple is now entering a field where other technology companies have struggled. Facebook has described its three-dimensional realities as the metaverse, and its founder, Mark Zuckerberg, has invested billions of dollars into the technology. The Quest headset remains the top-selling device, a market Apple now wants to dominate, and some analysts believe it has the upper hand.
Apple has something that Meta doesn't have, and it's all the people that are here today for the developer conference. How engaged this developer community is, and how they have learned to work with Apple to go from device to device and bring their apps and being supported doing that, I think is another key differentiator.
Mark Gurman is Chief Correspondent for Bloomberg. He joins me now from Los Angeles in California. Mark Gurman, good to talk to you. How long has Apple been working on this device? Because the price is eye-watering, isn't it? $3,500 US, more than $5,000 in Australia.
It's, first of all, a pleasure to be on here with you. Apple's been working on this product for nearly 8 years. And if you recall, when Steve Jobs announced the original iPhone, he said that development process took about 3 years, right? So we're talking about 2.5 times the length of the iPhone development. That's because of these unique technologies. This is the unique product that can cannibalize all of Apple's other products, right? Maybe everything, including the iPhone, the iPad, and the Mac. Previous new generation products didn't do that. The iPhone took over the iPod, right? But it didn't crush the Mac or the iPad, right? This is going to be entirely new. It's going to be a big time computer replacement, I think. It's really the future of the computer. It's going to take a number of years to take off, but it is certainly a very exciting device.
Okay, so on that point about it cannibalizing its other products, Apple says this will usher in spatial computing in the way the iPhone brought about mobile computing. What are the risks here for Apple?
The risks here is that the technology is extremely nascent, right? There is a bit of a learning curve. It's also very expensive, right? You mentioned $3,500 US, which would equate to over 5,000 Australian dollars, right? One thing I will add is this product is launching early next year in the US initially, and they're saying it will only hit more international markets. They didn't say which ones later in 2024, but the good news for those in Australia is that Australia is typically an early Apple product launch country. So if I were to guess, Australia would be one of the very first countries after the US to get the product. So those in Australia shouldn't have to wait too much longer after the US people get their hands on it.
Is there a sense that if anyone can get people to adopt this product, it's Apple, because others have attempted this and failed, like Google Glass?
Certainly, if anyone's going to do it, it's Apple. Apple's uniquely positioned because it owns the entire stack, from the hardware to software and services. They can make all the components work together. The user interface is incredibly smooth. The hardware is very sleek and slick. It's just a well-made device. They have the manufacturing prowess to actually build it in an effective way. you see that the attention to detail that was placed into the development of this product, all the way from the strap so you can resize it, having prescription pop-in lenses co-made with Zeiss in Germany, content from Disney. There's levels to this stuff, and it's at a point where only Apple can pull off something to this amount of success. I do think, though, that this is going to open many sales for Meta. I think Meta's Quest 3, coming out later this year, is going to be hugely successful because of the halo effect that this product is going to cast over the virtual reality and augmented reality market. People are now learning about spatial computing thanks to Apple, and they're going to look at what devices are there as alternatives to the $3,500 price point. The Meta device is $500 US, probably about $750 Australian. That's much cheaper than the Apple price, and it's probably not even that far behind in terms of the technology, in terms of specific use cases that people might use.
Yeah, and Meta has 81% of the VR headset market at the moment, doesn't it?
Meta has 81% of the VR headset market right now. If we had this conversation 1 year from now, I would venture to say that Apple has more than 50% of the market.
Wow.
And Meta has plummeted because of the amount of unit sales that Apple is going to bring to the table once this headset actually ships. And then you're talking about an international ramp. You're talking about cheaper models eventually, improved hardware at some point too.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about that because Apple has already flagged that they will bring out a cheaper version of this, but also possibly a more expensive version.
Yeah, so Apple hasn't announced anything publicly, but what I'm told is they're already working on a second generation version of this initial Pro model, which would, add some new speeds and feeds, a faster processor, probably a chip known as the M4 chip. So that would be quite more advanced, a little bit more gaming capability, some more oomph to get the power running. Also a cheaper model, right? This chip in the Vision Pro initially is a Mac grade processor. The screens in there are dual 4K displays, right? Like two 4K TVs jammed into this headset. Very high-end speakers and microphones, an array of 12 cameras and other sensors externally. There is a way to make this device cheaper using lower grade materials, maybe not carbon fiber and aluminum, maybe using less glass, maybe not including the eyesight feature, the external display. There is a universe where you can get the cost down in half by bringing down the quality of components and the quality of manufacturing. And so I think that's where Apple's going to hit as well at some point in order to really bring this technology to the masses, because the Vision Pro is not for the masses, right? Many years from now, I think you'll see everyone wearing these.
Okay, Mark Gurman, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you so much.